is our speaker on the on radio, and he's probably the most famous person that you haven't met yet. Fred's a founder, and see, he was also smart enough to give me a printed introduction to make sure that, because he just didn't trust us. That shows up to professional right there. Now, but Fred is the founder and CEO of the advertising agency Bulldozer Digital. He's credited as being the father of direct response radio marketing, having founded the first ever ad agency that specialized in radio advertising. This guy hangs out, consults frequently with Dan Kennedy. Said you were out at his pad last week or something like that. We're not going to go into all that, are we?
Yeah.
It's none of their business. Why did I even mention that? I don't know. Fred demonstrated the power of radio advertising by launching 2 startup companies, Priceline with William Shatner. Has anybody ever heard of that company? That guy? Freecreditreport.com. That's the last time I'll do that. Helped launch those companies to billion-dollar enterprises. Both of those companies, not a lot of people realize this, got their start on radio. Using just radio advertising, Fred holds the record for generating the largest traffic rate that translated into the most revenue for any company advertising on radio. 2.2 million responses in 14 days. Wow. And $1 billion in revenue in 18 months. You going to talk about that at all? Fred, take it away, man.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Oh, thank you, Michael.
Thanks, Michael.
Thank you. Nice job, Mike.
Thank you.
Thank Ryan and Perry for inviting me here. I love being in front of entrepreneurs. I love your ideas. I know what I'll do. I'll open a hoagie shop. In Philadelphia, they're on every corner. It's a sandwich shop. And I started, Federal Express just came into existence about that time. I took my hoagies and I put them in little styrofoam boxes and I sent them to, my brother was in California, and I sent those out. And the people coming in and making me send hoagies, I ended up sending hoagies every place in the United States, all over the world. And then I sent them to a lot of countries throughout the world, even Australia. And then one day some guy said, why don't you send one to the moon? And I remember I was sitting on a stool like this, and I reached back. I said, can I have NASA's phone number, please? True. And they put me through, and I said, I specialize in travel sandwiches. May I make a sandwich for the astronauts? I'm laughing, you know. And they said, well, we are looking for a travel sandwich. Maybe you can help us out.
Are you kidding me?
I milked that sucker for years.
You never know.
Anytime a shuttle went up, I got interviewed, the whole thing. So once you get in the Wall Street Journal, your life changes. My hoagie business, I was making $17,000 teaching school. My hoagie business went to $900,000 after I got in the Wall Street Journal. All right? And that helped pay, for my kids' college and so forth. Then everybody thought I knew a lot about radio. And other people started coming to me and said, would you do the same thing for me? So I became the first radio advertising company that did direct response radio. And why didn't anybody do it before that? They couldn't remember the 800 number, so we used vanity numbers. Like mega memory, 1-800 mega memory. So that's the way the whole thing came. About then, the .com thing hit. And I got a call from a friend of a friend. He says, I want you to meet with a real crazy guy. This is, I hesitate to tell the story because geez, I'll never be able to do that. But this is real, what I'm about to tell you. I get a call from this guy, and Jay Walker, and he says, I got an idea, I want you to run it on radio. He says, here's a check. He says, all the money I have, I borrowed it, I borrowed it on my house, this is it, this is from my friends and everything. He said, I want you to run radio. I'm sitting across the desk, a businessman with my suit and tie, and I'm saying, well, I'll test into it. No. He says, spend it as fast as you can. And by the way, get me a celebrity. So Bill Shatner was out of work. He was done. He was out. He had nothing working. So Jay gave him 90,000 shares.
Perfect.
What's that?
You thought perfect.
Perfect. Jay gave him 90,000 shares of Priceline and $50,000. And I read a month ago, since then, he's been the spokesperson for 11 years. he's made $600,000.
$600 million.
$600 million.
That's a little bit more than
That's
600,000.
$600 million. That's why I'm afraid to say these numbers. $600 million as a spokesperson. At any rate, Jay said, so do this. So Jay's a direct response marketer. He sells magazines and stuff. So I'm wondering why he doesn't want me to test and so forth and so on. So at any rate, I go back, to my little agency, and I said, well, we're going to place this radio advertising. And what happens is we get 2.2 million requests for airline tickets in just 14 days. Pretty cool, huh? But wait a second. We don't have any airline tickets.
This is the most freaking awesome story
We don't have that.
you're ever going to hear as an entrepreneur.
We're buying them retail and selling them wholesale.
Not a great model.
Not a great model. In 120 days, we built the second biggest brand in e-commerce right behind Amazon.com. $1 billion in sales in 18 months, never equaled a startup since. $1 billion in sales. Took the company public in only 18 months with a valuation of $10 billion. Created value of over $20 billion in 24 months. That's more than all the airlines put together, by the way. His personal wealth, $10 billion. He became the 43rd wealthiest man in America from a conversation in that, like I had with 3 or 4 people right out in that lobby. That's an idea.